Bill Henshaw here again, your constitutional coop from California who's still out here in Iowa on an extended trip that I'm hoping is going to turn out very well for all of us. I mean, we have him in so much trouble here. My friend that has me out here, his brother's in jail, got a maximum sentence for being a meth addict, which number one isn't a crime, but they had a big, long sentencing report. You can get copies of that. We'll talk about later with my You Win in Court document packets. And all they had in there was past several cases in which he'd been quote unquote convicted of being a meth addict, which isn't a crime. He gets a maximum sentence as being a habitual offender. No injured party anywhere in sight. Have they not heard of the right to confrontation and cross examination? Even if the trial court, quote unquote, aka administrative tribunal, had jurisdiction, which they don't. We're going to love all this going on. We'll be talking about that on more videos in this set coming up. But the subject here is all this nonsense with law enforcement thugs. And a lot of you know it, especially out there in Akron, Ohio, where 8 of them shoot Jalen Walker in the back 46 times during the course of a traffic stop, for crying out loud. And nobody even gets indicted for manslaughter, let alone first-degree murder. A big reason for this, and you'll learn more about this, send me an email, youwinincourt@gmail.com, is that the system, for better or worse, and obviously it's worse, thinks that all of these, what I call birthright citizens who owe their citizenship to Section 1 of the 14th Amendment, are subordinate corporate entities, non-living. That's what they think you are, too. So they come up there and shoot you like they did with Jalen Walker and other people that this has happened to. All they've done is killed an entity that's already dead. What's the problem? And that's what we have to get back to, where it is a problem. Back in the old days, Supreme Court ruled, and you'll learn about this case too, called Badoff v. United States, where they not only reversed the conviction for murder, where Badoff got into it with a peace officer at the time. We didn't have law enforcement thugs then like we do now, and got convicted of murder. And they not only reversed it, but said you probably can't convict him of manslaughter because the peace officer didn't have a warrant and he didn't have probable cause. That's the original intent of the framers. Where the hell did that go? And this is what we deal with these days. And it has to stop. And those of you out there advocating civil rights, as I just said in the previous video, weren't designed to work, never going to work, only on the rare occasion they have to make it look good. And yeah, there'll probably be a pretty decent settlement in the case out there at Akron, Ohio with Jalen Walker. But what does it matter? I mean, he's dead. And all these thugs should be in jail, and probably for first-degree murder if the system is working correctly. Because the bottom line here is traffic stop. The traffic court would not have had jurisdiction over Jalen Walker no matter what he did or did not do. That's the type of argument you make. Therefore, these thugs weren't acting in any official capacity. And even if they were, they hadn't been properly trained. That's the subject for another day also. But that's how we, start to get some real redress of grievance and put bastards away like this, for life if necessary, for what they did. And by the way, I'm willing to bet you for what it's worth that at least six of these thugs are ex-military, which is not only not a qualification for a peace officer, it's exactly the opposite. As these bastards haven't been through the Army and the Marines and whatever, who knows what happened to them with the government when they were in, that setting, can't tell the difference between Kabul, Afghanistan, and Kalamazoo, Michigan. What the hell is going on here? And we don't need law enforcement thugs, all of you out there. What we want to do is get back to peace officers, like in the old days, where they keep the peace and they're not out there looking to create commercial crimes and throw your ass in jail. And everybody behind the scenes gets paid a lot of money from your Sestate trust for every day you're in jail. That's what has to change, and the sooner the better. If you ask the right questions, and do it in the right court. That's how we're going to get rid of all this crap. And we have the Supreme Court right now having our backs. That's exciting. First time in 90 years, they're acting like a judicial court. Not as quickly as I would personally like. I understand some of the logistical concerns there. But members of the court, if you're listening, when you get back the first Monday in October, I expect you to go a lot quicker and faster than you have been, even in the past 4 terms. Because now there's no way, unless the Democrats steal the next quote unquote election, that they're going to get in there and you're going to get 2 younger conservatives to replace Alito and Thomas when they retire. And now we got the bastards for the next 12 to 15 years. That's what's going to change things if you do your job and do it, with force and with effect, and tell the American people what you're doing, for crying out loud. Your approval rating will shoot through the roof. No, you didn't reverse Roe v. Wade. It never existed. 14th Amendment case, the amendment doesn't exist. Civil rights doesn't exist. You did your job. What you should tell the American people is what they should do when they get to your court, if they have to get that far, and that's to invoke provisions like the 9th Amendment, which the Supreme Court has only ruled on, by the way, one time and 175 years, crying out loud. No, it's longer than that. But in any case, only one time, a case called Griswold v. Connecticut back in 1965, that had something indirectly to do with birth control. Those who want more information, send me an email, unincourt@gmail.com. I'll get information out to you and explain things like this so you know what's really going on. So that's the good news. And they may start to reverse, quote unquote, some earlier precedents that also don't exist, especially in the area of voting rights, which will be a great start when that happens. And oh, by the way, and they took off, by the way, they struck a deal with the liberals on the court. We'll talk more about that on a different video. But I know why they did it, because they said, okay, we'll take Brunson v. Adams off. And they did it, and it got back temporarily, but I think it's off again. And we won't rule on it, because if they rule on that, and they rule that the Democrats stole the election last time, and they've already got probably a less than 3% chance in the next quote-unquote election for the White House in any case. And if that comes out publicly, that's going to destroy them totally and give Republicans control of the Senate as well. Now, I'm not thrilled with a lot of people in the Republican Party, to be sure, but at least we're going to have people that have somewhat of the right perspective doing business here with the conservative values that they have, and wanting to get back to the original intent of those racist framers. If we do that, it still won't be perfect, but we can go back and make changes and do it the right way. That's even better. And get rid of all this nonsense and set an example the rest of the world can follow. Oh, by the way, it's all good news when you have the perspective. And trust me, people, I didn't have it myself. It took close to 20 years. And I sat down one Saturday and I said, my God, this can't be right. But I looked at all the paperwork in front of me. I compared the notes. It's all there. They just don't want you to know it. They didn't teach you in school any more than they taught me 50 years ago. And I was right outside of Washington, D.C., for crying out loud. But better education then, though, was mostly controlled at the county level, not the state level. But not in this area. Not a clue. Imagine if I had known that at the time and in Washington, D.C., what I might have been able to do. But better late than never. I'm doing it now. I'm trying to help you out, your families, and your posterity. That's the important part. And yeah, we can make a damn good chunk of change doing it. There's nothing wrong with that either. But if we ever get in front of a jury, and I will never see one, they're going to understand we're doing it for them too. It's not the money. And all they have on the other side is, guess what? A handful of attorneys sitting over there in $2,000 designers. See you later. There's no question about it. And especially if we get a right to trial by jury according to the course of the common law, which is supposed to have been in existence since Magna Carta 800 years ago. The framers knew it, and thank goodness the justices on the court now know it. We want it back. That solves so many problems. So goodness, I've run on here a little bit, but get so excited talking about this, given the window of opportunity that we have. And you can learn more about that. Send me an email, uwinandcourt@gmail.com. I'll fill you all in. You're going to love all of it. And we can go from there. Meanwhile, remember to like this video, subscribe, tell your friends, get the word out. Thank you.